What are you and I doing the microphone?
Bond.
The bond issue.
The bond.
This one here.
Joe and you.
Okay.
Can I please call the meeting to order? Please stand for a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, this is a public meeting of the Bayonne Board of Education. It is 1:19 p.m., the 11th day of March. We're convening in the Anna J. Herbert Meeting Room. Presiding officers, Joseph Broderick, President of the Bayonne Board of Education. Those in attendance include Dr. Michael Wanko, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Kenneth Kopaz, Assistant Superintendent for Personnel, Dr. Gary Maida, Board Secretary, Dr. Dennis Degnan, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Alonso is absent. Trustee Cassius.
Here.
Trustee Cruden.
Here.
Trustee Finnerty.
Here.
Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan.
Here.
Trustee Villado is absent. Vice President Wilbeck.
Here.
President Broderick.
Here. For the record, adequate written advance notice of at least 48 hours giving the time, date, and location of this meeting with the agenda was provided as follows. Notice was prominently posted in City Hall at 630 Avenue C on the bulletin board reserved for such announcements of the Board of Education. The Board Secretary sent such notice to the Jersey Journal. Notice was filed with the Municipal Clerk of the City of Bayonne, Mr. Robert F. Sloan. It was also put on the Board of Education website.
Just one point of business for the moment on acceptance of communications. We have a retirement and a resignation. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
And is there a second?
I second.
On that motion and second, Trustee Alonso is absent. Trustee Cassius.
Yes.
Trustee Cruden.
Yes.
Trustee Finnerty.
Yes.
Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan.
Yes.
Trustee Villado is absent. Vice President Wilbeck.
Yes.
President Broderick.
Yes.
Mr. President, at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Kopaz, who will introduce our parent. She's got a brief statement to read.
Mrs. Cassius, would you like to come up?
At the Board of Ed meeting on February 26, 2019, it was decided that there was unconfirmed evidence of the harassment, intimidation, and bullying report that I filed. This was a twofold HIB, as it was my duty as a teacher to report on behalf of a student, and also because I am a parent of one of the students that was targeted by the teacher. According to the BBOED Policy Guide number 4281, Inappropriate Staff Conduct, the board strongly believes that the school staff members have the public's trust and confidence to protect the well-being of pupils attending the school district, and that the Board of Ed holds all school staff to the highest level of professional responsibility in their conduct with all pupils, and that inappropriate conduct and conduct unbecoming of school staff members will not be tolerated in the school district. Today in my appeal, I will address the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act and how it pertains to my appeal. I also have copies of all correspondence with students, faculty, and administrators in chronological order since the student contacted me, as well as a written concern from me, which I hesitated to include until this morning. The scars of emotional abuse are as deep as a physical wound, and as a mother and a teacher, my job is to protect children from harm, not inflict it. According to the BBOED Policy Guide, the board recognizes there exists a professional responsibility for all staff to protect a pupil's health, safety, and welfare, and that's why I'm here. I don't understand how this case was considered unconfirmed, and I hope to be able to convince you otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, is there a motion to adjourn to a closed session?
I motion.
Motion by trustee Ryan, a second.
I'll second.
Second by trustee Cruden. On a motion, a second to adjourn to a closed session, trustee Alonso is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Cruden?
Yes.
Trustee Finerty?
Yes.
Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Trustee Velardo is absent. Vice President Wilbeck?
Yes.
President Broderick? It is
Yes.
1:24. The board will return. At this time, I'd like to reconvene the public meeting. It is 3:22. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Alonso? Trustee Cassius?
Here.
Trustee Cruden?
Here.
Trustee Finerty?
Here.
Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan?
Here.
Trustee Velardo is absent. Vice President Wilbeck?
Here.
President Broderick?
Here.
Okay, going along to our agenda, our non-consent items. There are copies of the agenda up here. First is renewal of our bond counsel. One sec. Okay, whereas the Bayonne Board of Education realizes it is essential to have a continuity of, in its business functions, therefore be it resolved that this Board of Education hereby approves the continuation of the present contracts for the year March 11th, 2019 to and including June 6, 2020. January 6, 2020, thank you, with the exception of any provisions that are inconsistent with any existing laws of the state of New Jersey, and which include the following firms at the current rates and limits. Legal services, it's a renewal of our bond counsel, McMiniman, Scotland, and Bauman, LLC. Be it further resolved that any provisions incorporated in contract entered into or to be entered into between the board and the organizations representing the various employee units which are in conflict with the provisions and the rules and regulations and/or school board policies, then and in that event, the provisions of the contract shall prevail. Do I have a motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second?
I'll second that
So I have a
motion.
motion by President Broderick, a second by Vice President Wilbeck on that motion and second. Trustee Alonso?
Yes.
Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Cruden?
Yes.
Trustee Finerty?
Yes.
Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Trustee Velardo is absent. Vice President Wilbeck?
Yes.
President Broderick?
Yes.
Sure. Resolution number 2. Whereas the Bayonne Board of Education conducted hearings regarding allegations of bullying regarding staff member number 8908. Whereas said hearing was requested by the parent and the alleged victim of such bullying, and whereas the Board of Education in executive session considered all relevant facts and arguments made by both the parent of the alleged offender and school administration, whereas the Board of Education considered the definition of bullying pursuant to NJSA 18A 37-12, whereas said statute defines bullying as any harassment, intimidation, or bullying which involves conduct where one or more students are victims to another person's aggression, which has not been caused by the victim, which emotionally or physically harms the victims and disrupts the educational process. The bully is further defined as any individual who harasses, intimidates, or bullies another person where the behavior is one-sided, whereas the administration, through the School Safety Committee, has determined that the alleged acts did not constitute bullying under the relevant New Jersey statutes because, 1, there was insufficient evidence to support the allegations of bullying. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education concurs with the conclusions of administration, directs the board attorney to provide the requisite notice to the alleged offender's parent as required pursuant to New Jersey's Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
On that motion and second, trustee Cassius, I'm
Yes.
sorry, trustee Alonso?
Yes.
Trustee
he has-
true.
You have to,
I think you should abstain since you missed the beat.
you should explain the myth at the beginning.
I mean, I did think I was caught up on the relevant information.
You can vote whatever way you want.
And I was going to vote yes.
Okay. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Cruden?
Yes.
Trustee Finerty?
No.
Trustee Ryan?
I think it's important to recognize that we're not voting on whether the facts of the case, merely that the people who investigated, the staff, did so appropriately with the information available to them at the time of the investigation. And I believe that they did so, and so I'm going to vote yes.
Trustee Villado is absent. Vice President Wilbeck?
Yes.
President Broderick?
I agree with trustee Ryan that the board takes it very serious. But in all these cases, when it comes down to us, it's a matter of whether the staff did the appropriate action and came to their appropriate decision. So I also will vote yes.
Number 3, whereas the Bayonne Board of Education conducted hearings regarding allegations of bullying regarding student ID 862826, whereas said hearing was requested by the parent of the alleged offender of such bullying, whereas the Board of Education in executive session considered all relevant facts and arguments made by both the parent of the alleged offender and school administration, whereas the Board of Education considered the definition of bullying, whereas said statute defines bullying, whereas the administration through the School Safety Committee has determined that alleged acts does constitute bullying under the relevant New Jersey statute because there was identifiable conduct that supports the allegation of bullying. Number 2, there is a reasonable suspicion that of a substantial disruption with the orderly operation of the school or rights of any student, including the victim, who continued to receive appropriate education. Therefore, be it resolved, Board of Education concurs with the conclusions of administration, directs the board attorney to provide the requisite notice to the alleged offender's parent pursuant to New Jersey Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
I'll second that motion.
So I have a motion by President Broderick, a second by Vice President Wilbeck. On that motion and second, Trustee Alonso?
Yes.
Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Cruden?
Yes.
Trustee Finerty?
Yes.
Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Trustee Villado is absent. Vice President Wilbeck?
Yes.
President Broderick?
Yes.
Mr. President, that is all I have before the board. Motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Motion by Trustee Ryan to adjourn, seconded by Trustee Cruden. On that motion and second, Trustee Alonso.
Yes.
Trustee Cassius.
Yes.
Trustee Cruden.
Yes.
Trustee Finerty. Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan.
Yes.
Trustee Villado is absent. Vice President Wilbeck.
Yes.
President Broderick.
Yes.
It is 3:30. The board will not return.